The AGN was set up very specifically by a group of African philanthropic organizations, and we wanted to make sure that people had an understanding that African philanthropy has been in existence on our continent for generations. We wanted to promote better philanthropy and relevant philanthropy, and we wanted to make sure that there was a real body of work around what we've done in the past, what we're doing now, and how that can drive a future vision.
Let me thank all those wonderful people who have been gathering here for 2 days, from the 1st of July to the 3rd, coming all over the capitals from Africa to be part of this great event which enters its second year, and are all here tonight to be part of this amazing achievement. Tonight, we're going to award 2 recipients, organization and an individual. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call the chair of the African Great Makers Network, Theo Soa, to officially welcome us.
The AGN had the first Philanthropy Awards in South Africa in 2012. The reason behind these awards is that we're all really, really good at looking at all of our challenges. No matter how well we do, we look at the one problem that we haven't overcome, the one obstacle that's stopping us from getting a little bit further.
I use a really simple definition for philanthropy: private giving for public good. So I think in this day and age, people giving to poor people. But our African tradition of philanthropy is much broader than that, and it's as much about horizontal philanthropy, community giving, peer giving, solidarity and support, as it is about rich people giving to poor people. It's a really wide range, but I think that what makes African philanthropy really special is that it's not people giving from their surplus. It's actually people giving because they think other people need whatever they give more than they need it themselves.
There are 2 prize winners tonight. I think they're both truly inspiring. I hope that you'll really enjoy this evening. I hope that you'll enjoy the pick that the independent judges made. And I hope that this will help you go away and think about how we can celebrate our achievements on our continent in so many different and new ways. So here's to African Vision, African Agency, and African Celebration. Have a wonderful evening.
Now let me welcome the keynote speaker tonight, which is Omotade Akin-Aina.
We are here to celebrate. As we celebrate innovation, as we celebrate accomplishment, as we celebrate achievement, I think we need to recognize our plurality. We need to recognize our difference. We need to recognize our diversity. We might be building a lingua franca, but we speak several national languages. And we come from different cultures, different regions, and different perspectives and different religions. So in building a community that is a plural community, in building a community that traverses borders, barriers and boundaries, even not only geographical, political, cultural, economic barriers and boundaries, we know the diaspora has been actually accepted by the African Union as a distinct community of this particular continent of ours. And we're the first continent to have done that, the continental body. So in building that kind of community, I think it's important as we proceed with our engagement and thinking around what kind of community are we building. And in doing that, I want to start with a debunking of 3 mythologies. The first one is that only the West does philanthropy. Let us forget that, throw that in the past, because we can do, we are doing, we are transforming, we are appropriating, we are engaging philanthropy on this continent. And it's not about insertion into global philanthropy. We are part of the world philanthropic traditions. The second is that only the rich do philanthropy. There are lots of people who have been doing what we call horizontal philanthropy, bringing together different kinds of people, engaging them. The burial society, it's not only the rich that do philanthropy. The community is supposed to be poor, but we need to also, in engaging Africa, engage Africa not from a deficit perspective, but from an asset perspective. The third mythology that I want us to completely take and put in the waste paper basket next to us is that only foundations do philanthropy. I want to claim that heritage. From our heritage, from the shrines, from Zakat, from what you see in the Orthodox Church, from what you see in the different traditions of our people going beyond 1,500 years, it is very, very clear that there has been the philanthropic engagement. What kind of communities are we building here? We're a community that is also becoming almost afraid of engaging the academy. I think the philanthropic environment, the philanthropic community has to re-engage the academic community. We have to let them bring the whole element of their discipline, the whole element of their training. But the universities are not here. And the universities produced most of us. The secondary schools produce most of us. The primary schools produce most of us. We see them as objects. They are not objects. They are subjects. They are our allies. They should be part of our coalitions. We should work with them. And I think there is a good news there. But I picked it because as Africans, we must learn to appropriate, to own, to claim, to transform, to use information, knowledge, resources, wherever they come from. AGN, the future is opportunity and adventure, and we celebrate today those who are the co-creators of our opportunities and adventure.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your presence tonight. This is the culmination of months of work to find those Africans who demonstrate excellence and innovation in philanthropic practice, who built genuine partnerships across boundaries, and who did so in pursuit of lasting and institutional change. They hold a vision of African agency and self-determination. The inaugural African Philanthropy Award was held in 2012. Mawa El Dali received the award for her work in the Mahdi Community Foundation in Egypt. This is the second time the awards will be made, and we hope it will become a biennial feature on the African philanthropy landscape. This year, African philanthropy is indeed vibrant and growing. 21 organizations and 9 individuals were nominated from all parts of Africa and the African diaspora. The final decision was made by the panel of judges. Although they are absent, we thank them for their time and their wisdom in discerning from a very impressive list of philanthropists. The process, needless to say, was very competitive. We hope that in the years to come, the numbers will increase as proof that we are growing the field of philanthropy on the continent.
Thank you, Karen. Now, Ezra Mpogori, who is the AGN board member, to present the organization category of the African Philanthropy Award. The 2015 Africa Philanthropy Award for organization goes to Kagiso Trust. Kagiso Trust seeks solution to the existing problems of quality education.
Thank you so much. This is such a big surprise. Thank you ever so much to AGN for having recognized and acknowledged our work at Kagiso Trust.
Kagiso Trust is quite amazing. I mean, young people and the whole Kagiso family is quite a big organization. And for me to have been the one to receive the award, I feel honored. And it's quite an overwhelming experience, truly.
This award is going to be a source of an inspiration and motivation for us to continue to do more work.
This network for us, I think it's a good platform for people to meet and to be able to get to know each other, but for the generation of ideas and as an incubator, you know, for work that people are doing in the continent.
Let me take this next opportunity to invite Beulah Fredericks, another AGN board member, to join me to present the individual category of the African Philanthropy Award. The 2015 African Philanthropy Awards for individual goes to Akwasi Aido. Akwasi cannot be with us tonight. Jerry Salole is a dear brother of the same spirit.
Thank you so much for this prestigious award, which I will cherish forever.
So the award is for Akwasi Aido, who was the executive director of Trust Africa and has been a person who has been a giant in African philanthropy on the continent. He's currently not here, but he couldn't be here, so I got the award in his name, but I only collected it for him. But the award was for Akwasi Aido.
The last 30 years of my life, my professional life, I've been focused more on grant making, and that's only a tool. The real spirit that wakes me up every morning and keeps me going, as I'm sure is the case with all of you, is African philanthropy.
This is an award that's given for somebody who is already formed. This is really a recognition award. It's a recognition of what he's done rather than an attempt to change the way he's going to look in the future. This is a man with integrity and with a great deal of humility. He would have accepted this award with humility, with gratitude, and graciously. And at the same time, he would have exuded the kind of confidence he represents. He was a very confident, very clear person, a person that people look to for inspiration, for advice. So he is very much a person who would have behaved just like that, but he would have done this with great humility. He would accept it with great humility, with humor. He would have told a joke, he would have told a story. That's the kind of person he is.
We know Africa is rising, but we want an Africa that stands on its own feet and runs unstoppably.
Images of a backward, starving, hopeless continent characterized by wars, disease, and poverty, a fragile and at times chaotic political landscape, the searing legacy of colonization. Not anymore. Africa has risen like a phoenix from the ashes and has hurtled towards industrialization and unprecedented economic growth.
The event this evening, the African Philanthropy Awards, is so that we celebrate our own. We're so good at only looking at the challenges that we face, and yet we have people who have done wonderful work, who are inspirational. And so we wanted, as Africans, to say, let us celebrate our African philanthropists and philanthropic organizations who have done wonderful things. Let's not wait for someone outside to come and tell us who's good inside our continent. We as Africans celebrate Africans who've achieved amazing things.
This evening we have witnessed the efforts of AGN to recognize the best philanthropists of the year and our friends from Kagiso and Akwa. I have no doubt that you deserve the award, and I say congratulations to you. To the rest of us who are and you delegates who are here this evening and the participants of the assembly, the winners of the award should give us the impetus and motive to continue working in our communities for better tomorrow and for better Africa. So let's continue to celebrate progress as we continue to attend this assembly in Arusha. And finally, I'll ask each one of you to stand up and raise our glasses to congratulate the winners and ourselves for being champion of philanthropy in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, cheers.
Yeah.